Okay, Tashima. Let's pick it up 3 lines from the top. Chavei Amid Aleph. Rav Ben, how you doing? Tashima. Shavas Bitel. Shukavaya Asara. Someone's resting on a hill that is 10 tefachim tall. Will be Arba Amos at Beis Hasayim. It's between 4 Amos and 2 Sa, which we said yesterday is 5,000 Amos. V'chein Beneka, which is like a cleft that's dug into a mountain. Shu Amok Asara, which is 10 tefachim deep. Will be Arba Amos at Beis Hasayim. Again, it's between 4 and 2 Sa. V'chein Kama Kitsura. We have cut up grain, v'shiboiles makifo isaisai, and standing stalks are surrounding it. That's the key case that we're looking for, that we have the standing stalks surrounding. Yet, what is the halacha? Mahalich es kula v'chutz la'apayamama. That's a Shabbos din which we're not getting involved in. That, very good, Chum Shabbos, it means it's its own rishos, but the entity that we care about is that we're viewing these stalks as a mechitza. The kasha is, but we just said anything that sways to and fro is not a mechitza. Answers the Gemara. Avagav because of us, even though it moves back and forth. Answers the Gemara. Sanami davle butza v'dafna. You wove it in between, and you made it a beautiful mechitza. And now we're going to pick up from the new Mishnah, even though, let's pick up from the new Mishnah. Says the Mishnah, at the end of Shir, we're going to do a little vote, how far the Olam wants to go. I don't know what everyone's nights look like as things get busy for the holidays. But we'll talk about that at the end of Shir. Shluchei mitzvah. Someone who is a messenger for a mitzvah. Peturin min hasukah. You're patur from sukkah. This is the classical rule, as we're going to see. This is a very large sugya. Oisek b'mitzvah, patur min ha-mitzvah. So if you're shluchei mitzvah, you're patur from, you're exempt from the mitzvah of sukkah. Case number 2. Why case number 2 is not repetitive from case number 1? We'll see in a moment. Chaylin umisham shehen. Someone who is sick. No, wrong song. That was the chasana. No, that's a boy. What do we do for a girl? Simen toiv u'mazal toiv ye'lanu l'chol yizav well. Sibir v'mit l'chaim. Wow, we just got a boy, a girl, and a chasana all at once. Simchus. When they asked Rav Volba when he started davening for the shidduch, what did he say? They asked him by a baby girl kiddush. He was walking into the kiddush. He said, when do you start davening for the girl shidduch? He says, you missed it already. Got to start from birth. So, b'siyat d'shmaya, b'itay b'zmana shidduch. Tell your wife the brachas you got, she's going to get nervous. Zok tehiliki gemara. I'm sorry, we're still in the Mishnah. Someone who is sick and someone tending to someone who is sick. What is the halacha? Peturin min ha-sukkah, they're patur from sukkah. So why is it not repetitive from the first case? The first case says you're doing a mitzvah, you're patur. Second case says you're visiting a chayla, you are patur. Any tissues in the shul? Anything? Someone? Napkin? I'll use the tablecloth. Thank you very much. I got one. Thank you. So why is this not repetitive? It's a very good question. And now case number 3 in the Mishnah. Oichlin v'shaisin, God bless you. Oichlin v'shaisin, you let it eat it, drink, arai, in a temporary nature, chutz le'sukkah. It happens to be, I don't know if it's because sukkah is only 8 days, but this case of a chayla and those who tending a chayla is a very common case. Someone's in the hospital, and you're visiting the person in the hospital. Do you have to eat in the sukkah? So if you're just visiting them, what's the big deal? But let's say they need you to be there. Someone just had a baby, so your wife's in labor. And sometimes it doesn't just take 5 minutes or 50 minutes. Sometimes it's a long process. So let's say you're sitting there, and l'mais, you're hungry. So someone's going to say, what do you mean? Just go out. We all know the moment you leave, what happens? Baby's born, or the doctor comes in, or you get called, and you're running around the hospital, getting lost in the maze of a hospital. We know all the fun things. So this would be the heter. Now, just to show you how far this goes, it's not only a heter for sukkah. It's a heter for everything. It's a heter from davening. You can't daven. You can't put on tefillin, perhaps, which maybe, as we see more in the Gemara, will develop this point. This happens to be, I don't know why, it's a fan favorite of mine. I don't know. It's Gishmak. What should I tell you? Anyways, the Mishnah is clear. We're good. 3 cases of the Mishnah.
Even
so we have to see what in the world that mean. What does that mean? Oh, what does that mean? Very good. Rishashi's pointing. Okay, let's see if it starts this time. When did it stop? We weren't paying attention. Okay. Says the Gemara Minani Mili. From where do we know the din in the Mishnah that when you're doing a mitzvah, you're part from the Sukkah de Tanur Abanan? Says the Braisa. B'shiftecha b'veisecha. When you lie down, when you sit in your house, Prat. This comes, Rabbi Rosenthal, you Gemara's here. Prat. This comes to exclude lo'isek b'mitzvah, someone who is doing a mitzvah. Now, how do we learn that? We're going to get there in a moment. Ubelechdecha b'derech, and when you're going on the road, prat, that excludes l'chasan, that a chasan. This is talking about the chiyuv of kriyash shema. Says the pasuk, when do you have to say shema? When you're sitting in your house. What does sitting in your house mean? When you're doing nothing. Prat, that excludes. If you're doing a mitzvah, then you are exempt. Then it says you have to say shema when you're lechdecha b'derech, when you're going on the road. What does that exclude? A chasan, someone that is getting married. Why is a chasan who's getting married pater from Kriya Shema? So Rashi fills in the blanks over here. The reason being, he's tarid. This is a sugya that many people have learned back in yeshiva. He's occupied with getting married, so he's pater from Shema. It's actually fascinating that this is one of the sugyas that we learn in yeshiva, because everyone learns the sugya and they think, okay, you know, every high school boy says, when I get married, one thing he remembers of his entire high school career. When he gets married, he's pater from Shema. Well, guess what? The problem is, says the Mishnah Berurah, it's not true. Because since we don't have kavanah anyways, unfortunately, l'mais you're chayiv. So, how this happened in Klal Yisrael, unclear. But either way, let's continue. So, shift the chav, you're sitting in your house, excludes someone doing a mitzvah. Going on the road excludes a chasan. Mikan amru, from here we say, akoines es abisula. Someone marries a girl, pater. Is pater, or shkia, that's what it was. Pater, that's a very late shkia. It's an hour off. Interesting. Pater, it's pater from Shema. Ve'eso almana, someone marries one who was already married. Chayiv, because then it's not as preoccupied nature, such a chasana. End of Braisa. So again, shift chaveisecha excludes doing a mitzvah. Left chavaderech, going on the road, excludes a chasen. From here we see, you get married to a woman for the first time, you're pater. If it's a woman that was previously married, you're chayiv. Says the Gemara, my mashma, where do you see in the psukim that this means to exclude one doing a mitzvah? Amar Rav Huna, kiderech. You know where you see it from? Because it's like the road. It says you have to read Shema, belech techavaderech, when you're going on the road. So we darshin like the road. Ma derech rishos. Does anyone force you to go on a trip? No, it's optional. So just like going on a trip is optional, af kol rishos. Just like anything that is optional. So if you're doing an optional act, then you're chayiv in Shema. Le'afukehi, which comes to exclude hai, this case, it sounds like something's burning. Am I the only one? Maybe I'm crazy tonight. I'm sorry.
No. Something's going on.
Something's going on. Ben, is everything okay? You're the firefighter. No? I don't know. I'm getting nervous. Rabbi Kogis, you're still on call?
Maybe they're doing self-clean.
I know we lost him. Okay, you're still on call. I know it smells like a fire in here. I just wanted to make sure you're still guarding us.
That's self-cleaning smell.
Okay, we're all good. Okay, let's continue. I'm sorry, Chaver. I don't know why. Oh, that sounds filled in there. Okay, says the Gemara, Kedarach, Ma derech rishos, Av kol rishos la'afuk ehai, getting married to a woman who was not married, Dibim mitzvah asuk. You're dealing with a mitzvah, period. Asks the Gemara, how do you know that when it says that you're traveling on a road, that you're going for an optional purpose? Mi lo yaskinan. Are we not dealing dika azil that you are going lidvar mitzvah? That you could also be going to do a mitzvah every time you travel. What do you travel for? Either you travel to go play ball, or you travel to come to shul. So how do you know that when the pasuk says you're traveling on the road, it means an optional thing? Maybe it means even for a mitzvah. Answers the Gemara, v'ka'amar rachmana, And the Torah says, Likri, the Torah says you have to read Shema. So how do you know it's excluding one that does a mitzvah? Maybe even one that does a mitzvah is included in Shema. Answers the Gemara, and with this we stop. Im Kain, if that was so, Leima Kra, the pasuk should say, Bisheves uveleches. My bishiftecha, the meaning you're going, ubelechtecha, excuse me, you're sitting, ubelechtecha, and you're going. What's you're going? Beleches didachu de mechayves. When you're going for your own purpose, that's when you're chayiv, that's when you're obligating Shema. Ha beleches de mitzvah, petiris, that's when you're going to be potter. So we began, we're going to stop over here. The Gemara is going to continue that the lima, the makar, the source, the one who's doing a mitzvah is exempt from doing other mitzvahs, particularly Shema. We're talking about it because it says b'shiftecha b'velechtecha. On your sitting, on your traveling, which means only you're traveling, only if it's optional. But if you're doing God's traveling, if you're going to do a mitzvah, then you're going to be potter.